Welcome back, Leanaholics. I'm your host, Dr. Lean. Now, today what we're going to be talking about is something that's actually very near and dear to my heart. And it is, you saw it in the title where it says, don't be dogmatic. Now, the idea behind that is, think for a second about a toolkit. If you've ever worked with a hammer, you know that there is a bunch of different hammers. If you look into somebody's toolbox, they're going to have 5 different hammers. Why? Some of them got a flat surface. Some of them have a grid-looking surface. Some of them are bigger, smaller, heavier, right? There's all sorts of different styles of hammers that there are. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because based on the job and the type of nail I'm working with, I need to choose the right hammer, right? Just like if I have a screw and there are many different screwdrivers, there's a Phillips and there's a flathead, are the two most common. There's hex screws and all sorts of other stuff, but they're all screws. Now, again, why do I say this? I say this because I run into master black belts all the time who drive me absolutely bonkers with statements like, this tool is for this purpose only. This is how I learned it and this is how I teach it. Okay, let me tell you first of all, right there, I'm going to throw up a big red flag. Because when I am in the classroom, one of the things that I try to impart to my students is I am showing you, according to the body of knowledge, a way. Right? There is a knowledge element that we have to hit according to Bloom's taxonomy, the level of cognition. So whether we need to learn how to apply it or comprehend it or understand it or whatever it is, I'm going to teach you a way in the classroom. And then hopefully when you go back, whether it's us coaching you or maybe somebody in your organization, they can show you a slightly different way. That's the hope of it. Now, that's from our perspective. Like, we love to have different points of view. When somebody fills a charter out, there's going to be a nuanced way to do it. Somebody does process mapping, 3 master black belts, and might do it in a slightly different way. Here's my point though. Are we all going to finish the product? Are we all going to solve the problem? Well, ideally, yes, we are. So that being said, if you're one of the master black belts listening to this, I am going to give you a kind of shame on you with this. Stop doing this if this is you. When you're going back and you're telling, newer belts that, well, this is the way you do it. How I show you is the right way. I'm going to laugh out loud, literally, every time I hear that, because it is absolutely not true. All of us master black belts follow a body of knowledge. We can still fill out the tools. We're going to get to the same end. Some people fill out a SIPOC, or some people might cut out the O and call it a SIPOC, and they fill it out back to front. Some of them fill it out front to back. Some of them tell the story front to back, back to front. My point is, it doesn't freaking matter. So when somebody comes up to you and they tell you this, with that emphatic, this is the way you do it, how you learned it was wrong, I'm going to tell you right now, that is a huge red flag. So this video is actually more about something that's a pet peeve to me. So I am venting in a way, but I'm doing it so that if you're one of the folks who's learning about Lean Six Sigma, you understand that this isn't a rigid methodology, like prescriptive. We got to follow. We have to do it A, B, C, D, and follow steps 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is just absolutely not the case. That would eliminate our creativity, our freedom to think, are looking at it from different points of view, and we need that. Hence the point of doing it with a team. And if you're one of the master black belts or black belts out there who just lacks experience and says, well, I learned it this way, so we're doing it this way, I'm going to tell you then, go get more experience, or at least caveat that when you're working and coaching folks to say, this is how I've done it, but I know that it can be done other ways. Don't lead people into the trap of thinking that your way is the only way. Because my way is only one of 10 different ways to do a tool. It's only one of the versions of hammers. I might show them in a couple in the classroom so that they can see a variety. Maybe we're going to grab a Phillips screwdriver and a flathead screwdriver, right? Maybe we're going to do that during class. But I'm not going to be showing them the entire range and size and styles of screwdrivers that I have. I simply don't have time for that. I leave that to the coaches, and what I'm hoping and trusting in a good relationship with any organization, that if you're with our coaches, they know not to be dogmatic. But if we're working with an organization, hopefully you can kind of step back and go, yeah, my way is not always the right way. It is a way and it solves problems, but it might not be the best way this time. Maybe I can use my failure modes and effects analysis in the define phase rather than just using it toward later on in the improve phase when I'm running solutions through it. Well, in actuality, you should be doing that. But there are several tools in our kit that can be put in different locations, right? And used for different things. So think out of the box. Don't be afraid to explore. Don't be afraid to try and fail. Try again and find new ways to use these tools. And always throw up that cautionary red flag. Don't be combative. As a matter of fact, be loving and gentle when you bring it up and just say, hey, I'd like to talk to you about that. If they say, this is the way you do it, and this is the only way. How you're doing it's wrong. You go, well, let's take a step back and let's kind of rationalize this together. So hopefully what this does is it allows you to have those conversations. If you're an MVB, hopefully, or Master Black Belt, hopefully it starts to open your mind a little bit and say, yeah, maybe I should be a little bit more tolerant of other points of view when we're doing these tools, because I'm either A, lack the experience, or B, I'm making it so rigid, it's just not fun and it's so prescriptive now. And then if you're one of the students or somebody newer to Lean Six Sigma, you can have those conversations and say, well, hey, sir, ma'am, what do you think, as you're coaching me, I would really want to honor and respect you and thank you for your time. But what about looking at it from this perspective? Could we try it this way? Do you think it would make an impact? Will it work? And hopefully together we can grow the community. We can grow our tool set. We can learn, be creative, and solve more complex problems working together than we can by any one of us being rigid and thinking we know everything. Because guess what? I don't, you don't, nobody does. So let's stop being dogmatic. Let's grow together, learn together, and then I hope to see you in the classroom.